So I got a first row VIP seat at an avoidant that was unhealed and refused to face her own trauma. And I saw all the damage and the people that she destroyed along the way. Healing is a choice. And if that person won't choose healing, then you need to choose yourself. If you just looked at her actions, you would say, yeah, she needs help. An unhealed person that's not willing to be self-aware and not willing to put in the work is a person that you need to avoid at all cost. And now that's why I'm in this healing journey that I'm in right now. Was she just an avoidant, or was it something deeper than that? If you judged her based just off her actions, you would swear she's heartless, she's cold and manipulative, even cruel in how she treated people who only tried to love her. But if you isolated her heart, beneath the chaos, beneath the trauma, I believed she was just terrified. Terrified to feel, terrified to be seen, terrified to face the parts of her she spent years running from. But the truth is, being unhealed is not an excuse to become the wrecking ball in other people's lives.
The same time that I was supposed to mature, and I blew it. You ever had a problem that's your fault, and your pride won't let you admit you the reason that you lost? Now you talk that's exactly what I thought.
For the first 3 months, it felt like a dream. The kind of love that made you feel like God was answering your prayers. She looked into my eyes and told me I was different. Held me like I had never wanted, like she never wanted to let me go. That's what's so crazy about all this. But then, without warning, she just disappeared, started pulling back and ran away. Not emotionally, not physically, spiritually, just entirely. She went from texting me good morning to being in someone else's arms. And she told me that the other girl, yes, the other girl, she ended up being in a whole other female lesbian relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it did surprise me. But she told me that that other girl that she ended up being in a relationship with in the month of September gave her money, gave her gifts, gave her affection. So ultimately just gave her comfort. But she also forgot to mention, or eventually mentioned, that there were other guys that she was entertaining and sleeping with while she was in this relationship with this other girl. That's what didn't make sense. And I guess you can call me a fool for trusting her and believing her and giving her a second chance. Because while she was in that relationship in September with that female, she slept with 4 other guys. Deleting text messages, sneaking around, making this girl believe that she was being committed when in actuality she wasn't. Like I said, her actions were malicious, but her heart was pure. But it was hidden behind that trauma. So as you can see, the trauma was dictating the actions. She was trying to protect herself, and by protecting herself, she was simply just feeding her needs, using people as a supply source and as a comfort source, and justifying it along the way. That is how painful and how detrimental and how harmful a unhealed, avoidant individual can be. Living not more than just 2 lives. There's probably another life that I was oblivious to. This is just what I had access to understanding and seeing from an outside perspective. So if you just looked at her actions, you would say, yeah, she needs help. And I realized this wasn't about love. This was about distraction. It was about filling voids instead of facing it. But she came back, literally, the month of October. She came back crying, saying that she's never been faithful to anyone else but me. And I believed her, but it's hard to believe somebody that lives that type of life, because the moment that somebody lies to you, or you hear or see them being dishonest, it leaves up to question everything about them. Faithfulness isn't just about the body. It's about emotional integrity. And the truth is, her words sounded beautiful, absolutely amazing, but her actions told a completely different story. The avoidant pattern went something like this when I was with her. Love, then distance. Closeness, then silence. Warmth, then ice cold withdrawal. That's painful. That's a pattern, not just a avoidant behavior. It's the result of being unhealed. So I'm not here to make avoidance bad people. I'm here to highlight the fact that an unhealed person that's not willing to be self-aware and not willing to put in the work is a person that you need to avoid at all cost, or else you're going to be collateral damage. They don't run from you. They run from themselves, from intimacy, from their own reflection in the mirror that you hold up. Unhealed people will destroy everything that reminds them of what they refuse to face. They'll protect their ego at all cost, rewrite history, tell a different narrative, try to paint the person as a bad person instead of what the truth was. They will deny reality, shift the blame until they believe their own story. But the truth, listen to me when I say this, the truth will always find its way to the surface. And eventually the damage catches up to them. When you keep sweeping things underneath the rug, when you keep acting like things don't exist or avoiding them, you eventually trip over that same rug. So let's talk about scripture to ground this overall heavy conversation. Jeremiah 7 verse 9 says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it?" Whoo! This verse reminds me that without healing, without reflection, even a loving heart can become a dangerous one. Prime example. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not talking about the main hurt that I received from this avoidant. I'm talking about the hurt that she's been causing to people that try to love her in her life. She has a plethora, a laundry list of broken hearts that are left behind. So you have to ask yourself, was there something wrong with all those people? Or is there currently something wrong with her that she refuses to accept and heal from? So that dangerous heart, especially when it's led by fear instead of truth, causes deep wounds. I'm a product of it. But the thing is, with God on my side, pain has always brought me deeper to my purpose, deeper to my truth. So I share this just to share a perspective of the lesson that I learned in that previous season. I was trying so hard to make this person my wife, to make this person my everything, to try to help heal this person. At the same time, I was abandoning myself in the process. And as time led on, I realized more and more how much I was neglecting just to allow her to have space in my life. How small I was shrinking myself. How much I was delaying my growth just to help her to delay hers as well. Help her avoid hers as well. I spent months trying to understand her, trying to forgive her. But what I've learned in this season is if someone refuses to take accountability, you have to protect your peace at all costs. Because if you don't, you'll bleed for someone who won't even admit that they're holding the knife. Wow. At the end of the day, attachment styles don't excuse accountability. Healing is a choice. And if that person won't choose healing, then you need to choose yourself. This person had a beautiful heart. She still does. Has an absolutely beautiful heart. But if she chooses to continue to not heal, to avoid her circumstances, to fall towards what's comfortable and healing, whatever it may be, she's going to run through the same cycle over and over and over and over again. And after those 3 months over the summertime that me and her dated, she ran at the end of August, slipped into a female relationship while cheating and being dishonest with this female. She wasn't being her true authentic self. She kept hiding, deleting text messages, sleeping around with other individuals for the entire month of September. And then we reconnected and she was honest with me about her malicious behavior. Took accountability to me, but she never took accountability to herself. There's a difference. Apologizing and confessing to the female that she was being unfaithful to would be a huge step, but I doubt she ever will. And the month of October all the way till January 1st, I tried to make it work. Kept dealing with the push and pull, the hot and cold, trying to wait it out, hoping that she would change or come around, but I kept losing myself and bleeding myself out trying to save her. And it's never worth it. And I told her that you're not worth it, and what I meant was her avoiding herself, her refusing to accept love, refusing to deal with her trauma was not worth it, because I ended up being collateral damage in the process. And now that's why I'm in this healing journey that I'm in right now. And I'm not perfect, because after I walked away from her and broke up with her and told her that she wasn't worth it, January 1st of this year, I ended up going back February 7th of this year, the first week of February, for like a day. And she fed me those fantasies that she always have, inviting me to her family's wedding in June 20th. Me realizing it sounded great and I wanted it to be a reality, but I've been through this same story over and over and over again. In the moment something feels right, she says what I want to hear, but in actuality, she's not going to follow through. She's not a woman of her word. She's going to run away. She's going to ghost. She's going to go to what's comfortable or what's easy. And that female relationship that she was in September, it was easy for her. She never had to make it public. Got what she wanted. This girlfriend of hers would buy her whatever she wanted, help her get her nails done, fed her whatever desire or temporary pleasure she wanted, whether it was physical, sexual pleasure, or just buying drugs and things of that nature to just fill her void. Sounds like a very perfect recipe for an avoidant to just avoid and lean on that comfort. But eventually what happens in the dark always comes to light. That's what people need to understand. So I got a first row VIP seat at an avoidant that was unhealed and refused to face her own trauma. And I saw all the damage and the people that she destroyed along the way and still continue to. And I was one of them. I learned a lot. But the thing is with me, when I deal with pain, I always thrive and come out of it. So I'm grateful for that. If you're going through a season of healing, you're looking for guidance, structure, and a community, check the link in the bio. We have a healing community made just for you if you can relate to anything that you've heard in this story. If you're just looking for healing, looking for other individuals that will pour into you, but also for you to pour into them. Thank you for watching this. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. Was she just an avoidant, or was it something deeper than that?